Good morning, I'm Dara Brown. There's breaking news at this hour from Orlando, where there are reports of a shooting at a nightclub in that city.
Right here in Newtown, Connecticut, the site today of a mass shooting, and this time gunfire aimed at elementary school children.
Good afternoon from CBS News. This is Newsbreak. Police say 14 people may be injured after shots, explosions, and a fire were reported at suburban Denver's Columbine High School. Witnesses said 2 or more students started the attack at lunch period. SWAT teams went in to rescue possible hostages.
Let's say it's a domestic shooting. We've got to do something about that. You know, I'm a gun owner. I've been saying this for months now. It's time for people to come together and say enough. If he had an assault weapon, if it was an AR-14, Sam McChrystal has said not to be in civilian hands. It's designed to do one thing, to kill people. And we don't have any dialogue going on in America about all of these mass shootings that have occurred since San Bernardino. And they've been going on around the country, 3 or more killed at a time. This absolutely belongs in the political debate, and it ought to be a place where both parties can talk about it in a rational fashion.
He can't murder you. He can't burn your house. The only thing he can do to you as an elected official is defeat you for re-election. And if that means more to you than your country when we need patriots to come out in a situation when we're in extremity, you shouldn't even be in Congress.
There are real problems with how we are electing our representatives. I think political gerrymandering has resulted in a situation in which with 80% Democratic districts or 80% Republican districts and no competition, that leads to more and more polarization in Congress, and it gets harder and harder to get things done.
Have gone from watchdogs to combatants, as we said, in just the course of one American generation.
The Communist Party leaders of East Germany and
once there were only 3 networks, and the evening news anchors told you what was important. It was, says New York Times media columnist David Carr, a shared national experience.
I'm Catholic, and so I viewed them through a kind of a clerical lens and saw them as, other than not having collars on, as sort of high priests of the truth.
That's the way it is. Tuesday, January
No,
27th.
that's the way it was. This is how it is.
Stop the BS here. Stop the crap.
That ideological coverage of the news, be it of the right or be it of the left, has created a political reality in this country which is bad for America. I think it's made it difficult, if not impossible, for decent men and women in Congress, on Capitol Hill, to reach across the aisle and find compromise.
Some of the change is generational, and then there's our media culture. That side of the story tonight from NBC's Kristen Dahlgren in Los Angeles.
When Ellen DeGeneres came out in 1997,
gay woman in aisle 5.
It was front page news. Will and Grace soon brought gay men into American living rooms every week.
You still want to marry me? Over and over and over.
Fast forward a few years to what's considered a modern family and one of the most popular shows on TV.
Oh, our game nights on Saturday, they're epic.
Over the years, television has changed the conversation about American sexuality. And what happens in Hollywood doesn't stay there.
And yet the turmoil of recent weeks reminds us that the path to democracy does not end with the casting of a ballot. Nelson Mandela once said, "To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." True democracy demands that citizens cannot be thrown in jail because of what they believe, and that businesses can be opened without paying a bribe. It depends on the freedom of citizens to speak their minds and assemble without fear, and on the rule of law and due process that guarantees the rights of all people. In other words, true democracy, real freedom, is hard work.
This absolutely belongs in the political debate, and it ought to be a place where both parties can talk about it in a rational fashion.